Hey, I want to talk to you about the speech that Bobby Kennedy gave today. Some of you might have seen it. I watched it in its entirety. And when it was over, my texts started blowing up. Friends and family who just thought it was so outrageous that Bobby has suspended his campaign and endorsed Donald Trump. I can't go along with that knee-jerk reaction, and I want to tell you why. First of all, the beginning of his talk was about the media and the Democratic establishment and how they have treated him. And I have to support him for that because I know from my own experience that he is 100% correct. Nicole Shanahan did a video that went viral about this the other day. It's true, I'm sorry, it's absolutely true. And when Bobby took off after the journalists and he said, "You are undermining our democracy, you are just working as foot soldiers for the political establishment, you have abdicated your appropriate role in a free society," I could not agree more. I thought Bobby said it in an eloquent way, in a powerful way, and once again, from my own experience, not only do I know it's true, but I know how important it is, so bravo on that. Then he talks about Ukraine, and he and I have some differences of opinion on that, it doesn't matter. And then he starts talking about his passion around childhood diseases, around food safety in the United States, around the high rate of chronic illness, about the terrible corporate corruption from big food and big ag, particularly, as well as big pharma. I'm in 100% agreement with him on these things, and I said so in my own campaign. I do not in any way doubt Bobby Kennedy's sincerity on those issues. And he's also correct that the Democratic Party does not address them. And I'll tell you something, you know, this issue of Kamala Harris not being, not articulating actual policies, I think Bobby Kennedy's speech is going to make it necessary for her to speak to some of these things, and I think that's healthy, I think that's good. Now, this is the deal. Bobby clearly, what he explained to us in this speech was that because he is so passionate on these issues, and having spoken with Donald Trump for, I think he said at least a couple of hours, he believes that with a Trump administration, he would have the capacity, would be given the platform that would enable him to really make a difference on this issue that he cares so much about. Let me say this, I believe him. I think he is sincere. This is my question. You know, I once heard Barbara Corcoran talk about Donald Trump. And she was saying on this video, I thought it was really interesting. She said, "I've known Donald Trump since, for years and years." She said, "We started our real estate companies at the same time, and he is an incredible salesman." And so the woman who was interviewing him said something like, "Oh, you mean he's like a master?" She said, no, he's not a master. He is phenomenal. He walks into a room and he has an eerie way, I don't know exactly what word she said, of knowing exactly where somebody's weak spot is, exactly where they're vulnerable. And so I'm sitting here listening to this thinking, thank you, could you just keep it to yourself? We don't need somebody saying how great he is. She said, and that's exactly what he has done to this country. So I'm sorry to be cynical, but that's the question I have, Bobby. Yeah, I'm sure he snowed you with all that. I just don't know if once you got in there, you would have the ability to do what he is saying he would allow you to do. Years ago, I read a book by Robert Reich called Locked in the Cabinet. And it was all about what happened in the Clinton administration when Clinton made him labor secretary. And then he found, once he was labor secretary, that even being the secretary, he was blocked in so many ways. So that it goes straight back to that neoliberal establishment stuff. And so I have no doubt, you know, Donald Trump is a very shrewd man. And he knows that those 3, 4, possibly 5% that Bobby could conceivably sway in his favor is what he needs. So I have no doubt that he went after it. And so I, once again, I don't doubt Bobby's sincerity, but I think it would be foolish to think that just because Donald Trump said, yeah, help me, support me, and then I will let you blank, 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 blank. A friend of mine was saying earlier, yeah, it's something that Trump probably could do, but whether he would do it, I have a lot of questions given the fact that at the end of the day, he's as much of a supporter, he does as much to fortify corporate corruption and corporate control in this country as anyone. So that's how I feel about the speech. I think he said some important things. Where he lands is not where I land. Because to me, once again, as a friend of mine was saying, and I 100% agree, even if Trump were willing to do some of these things about childhood diseases and everything, and I share Bobby's passion about this. I'm a mother. And once again, I talked about these things in my own campaign. To me, personally, the overriding threat, and I do think there's a threat, that Donald Trump represents is so great that I can't go there. But much of what he said in that speech about children, about health, about food, and about how the system operates to suppress the candidacies of people that it doesn't like, he was right on. And I just think we have to get away from our black and white thinking. It's this or it's that. This is good, this is bad. And that's why I'm not endorsing anyone right now. You know, what I'm endorsing is people processing this, you know? I was with a gentleman the other day who said, I'm just thinking about it, I'm thinking about it. That's where I think it's reasonable to be. Black and white thinking comes in on November 5th. You're gonna have to make a choice. And right now, I'm under no circumstances am I going with Donald Trump. For me, I am voting for the whatever the viable option is, and that's at this point definitely Kamala Harris. But the fact that this is going to make her have to show up a little more on the actual policy now, in order for Kamala Harris to be able to counter that speech today, because Bobby, that was powerful stuff, and he a lot of people were listening. Kamala, come up with some food policies, come up with some health policies, speak to the danger of these high rates of chronic illness. Those things that Bobby said was true. And I look forward to hearing Kamala Harris say a few things herself. Okay? Here we go, everybody. Unpredictable times. Thanks for listening.